Woo! Sorry for the delay. Just want to jump on here real quick. I like to do a little pop-up, like a pop-up quiz for all the college football common joes and common size unknown. See if anybody's up. Maybe they're a little bored. Maybe they want to talk some college football in the historical 2024 season that is upon each and every one of us, from it being the first year that Texas and Oklahoma are in the SEC, as well as the Big Ten is introducing 4 new teams into their conference, as well as the Big 12 is introducing 4 new teams into their conference, as well as the ACC is bringing in 3 new teams to their conference. Also, if y'all want to talk about the WWE pay-per-view event that was just this past week, the Money in the Bank match. I know some of you in here are not wrestling fans. Fred Bagley, not to name any names, but if y'all want to talk about wrestling, this is just a pop-up, just to come in here and hang out with the boys and the girls. Y'all can push the narrative of this live stream if you want to. Give me some topics to talk about. I do have a few that I can pull up, something that interests me today about the Oregon Ducks. Oklahoma continues to recruit at a high rate, as well as Alabama and Texas and LSU, as I discussed in the last live stream. And Thunder OU says there needs to be a second debate. Well, I don't know. I mean, Donald Trump won that live debate by a landslide, by people. And I'm a registered Democrat, which I'm going to change that shit real soon. I'm going to change myself to independent, because the Democratic Party that I signed up for back in the late 80s, early 90s, is not the Democratic Party that we have now. So both of them suck. Both Democrats and Republicans both suck. We need to have at least 3 or 4 parties in the mix to keep from having all this corruption. As I've said numerous times and 1,000 times, but I hadn't said it more than 1,001 times, party label loyalty makes for corrupt loyalty, in my opinion. Yes, Thunder OU Center wants a second debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, which I don't think is a good idea for either one of them. I think that Donald Trump should just take the win and not allow him to have a second opportunity. But that's just my opinion. If you're going to put someone up there to debate him, put Kamala Harris up there. That'll be very entertaining. Hell, put Michelle Obama and her Jack in the Box up there. That'll be entertaining. We got Alan in the house. I haven't never seen you in here, Alan, so I'm going to throw you up on the screen. Alan says, UGA, Oregon, Bama, and Ohio stank. Misspelled stank, Alan. Stank is spelled Stank. Ohio Stank will make the semifinals after the others get eliminated. There's going to be 12 teams in the playoffs this year. That's another new thing. I was talking about all the new teams being added to all the conferences, all these new budding rivalries. And then, yes, we now have a new playoff system in place as well, and we got numerous new coaches. My team, Alabama, is replacing the legend with Nick Saban, with Kalen DeBoer, who just went to the national title game. So the whole transition thing that people are looking forward to with Alabama may not come to fruition for the Alabama haters out there. Alabama may continue to just move along at the same pace that they've already been moving along at for the past, I guess, everybody has lulls. Well, for the past 120 years or so, Alabama has been winning national championships in every imaginable format, whether it be in the Rose Bowl, which was the de facto national championship game back in the 1920s and 30s, to the AP poll and the UPI poll, aka the coaches poll, to the BCS era, to now the playoff era. Alabama has won national titles each and every time. Not saying that to try to troll, to aggravate, not saying that trying to be a homer. It's just a fact. Just like Oklahoma's a blue blood. Just like Ohio Stank is a blue blood, sort of. Notre Dame used to be a blue blood. Nebraska used to be a blue blood. Texas wants to be a blue blood, but I don't think Texas quite qualifies to be a blue blood, because Texas has, in my opinion, you have to have at least 5 national championships to be considered a blue blood. Big Cojones Kelly says he's been saying ban all political parties altogether. And I do agree with that, Big Cojones Kelly. I agree that there should be no political parties. It should be like what we had in high school. You know, in high school, everybody sort of suggested a candidate, and they usually had about 2 or 3 candidates, sometimes 4. And if it was really close between 1 and 2, well, then they had a runoff. And there was no party label loyalties, no coercion or lobbyists, any of that corrupt bullshit going along with it. That's the way they should do it now. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best solution. People overthink shit. And I think it might have been George Washington or one of the earlier presidents that said that we shouldn't have just 2 parties. There should be 3 or 4 parties, viable parties. None of this libertarian bullshit where they don't really have a chance, to be honest with you. Like RFK is trying to start the We Are the People party, which he probably don't have a chance in hell. Alan says, by the way, you can keep talking about OU recruiting well, but OU nor the Longhorns will win a national championship in this lifetime. Texas has a better chance at it, though. So who is your team, Alan? Tell us who your team is. Donnie says, why is ESPN giving Prince Harry and his egomaniac wife the ESPY and the Pat Tillman Award? That's tacky. I have no idea. I stopped paying attention to ESPN, their little gay-ass awards, a long time ago. There's nothing valid about them. It's just like the Heisman Trophy, man. It's just and they got a little variety in there when they made Alabama's wide receiver the Heisman Trophy winner. But for the most part, it's a quarterback-driven and running back-driven award. It's not really about the best player. The Heisman Trophy needs to actually name a defensive player the Heisman Trophy winner for them to be taken seriously as an award that's for the best player on both sides of the ball. They don't ever name a player from the defensive side as the Heisman Trophy winner. And they've had their chances. Ndamukong Suh from Nebraska, although he's a horrid human being, he's not a very nice guy, should have won the Heisman Trophy over Colt McCoy when that trophy was given in that year. I can't remember the year. I think it might have been, 2009? That Ndamukong Suh should have been Heisman Trophy winner. Even further back, Derek Thomas of Alabama probably should have won the Heisman Trophy because he had 28 sacks in one season. That career, one season. I think he had like 50 or 60 overall. Big Cojones Kelly says, like, check, subscribe, add, multiply. By the way, Big Cojones Kelly, if you want to be on the show, let me know. I'll send you an invite. We'll bring you in here. Anybody wants to be on the show tonight, it's open mic night once again. This is all about the motto that we've established. We are the home of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. All these media talking heads are put in the know by common Joes that leak stories to them. Well, now we have a voice of our own. And I'm trying to get more people involved. I don't want it to just be about me. So if you want to be on the show, let me know. Tonight is just one of those nights where we're just going to have a little bit of fun. If it don't work out, hell, I can always delete it. Right? Also, if you want to get your comment moved to the top, if I can't see all the comments, there's a little money dollar sign at the bottom. You want to click on that, make a one-time donation to the program, write your comment out, then hit send. Make sure you write the comment out first so you get your money's worth so it's not a blank. Hit send, and it'll highlight your comment, push it to the top, and I'll read it out, and I'll answer your question above everybody else's. You got 2, 3, 5, 20, $10 donation buttons, whatever. Storm 4601's in the house. He has his badge. By the way, people have their badges in here. It's Fred Bagley, Big Honey's Kelly. They all have their badges in here. They are members of the Outlaw Posse. You get your badge, you get deputized, you can breathe a random Four Horsemen shout out on the actual podcast that I do, as well as possibly the comment of the day. It's $2.99 a month, just 75 cents a week, just a half bottle of water for the Outlaw. Hit the join button, next subscribe button, and we'll get you deputized. We'll get you in here. But the free stuff is like, share, comment, subscribe. Subscribe is most important. Gets more people in the party. Get this thing crunk before the football season starts. Storm 4601 says, another debate. I think we have seen all we need to see. I guess you're referring to Donald Trump and whatever that guy is, the shell of Joe Biden, whatever he is. The guy's in disarray. He's demented. He's dementia. Jill Biden, she wants to keep him in office for her own personal, selfish reasons. It's just crazy, man. We got a lot of good people in this country, and we don't deserve what we're getting from our politicians. I'm not advocating overthrowing the government or anything like that. I'm just saying we deserve more than what we're getting from our politicians. They're just in it for the money. Now, Trump donated his salary, which was a good thing to do considering all the money he makes. He actually lost money during the presidency. When meanwhile, Hillary Clinton and what's that damn speaker? What's her name? Nancy Pelosi's worth has went up 10 times over since they were in office. That's not the way it's supposed to be. It's not the way it's supposed to be, man. We're all getting ripped off and shit on. Big Cojones Kelly says Tyrann Mathieu, a.k.a. Honey Badger, should have won the Heisman. Wrong answer. While I like the Honey Badger, I don't know, man. I don't know. Alabama sort of exposed him in a way. By the way, do you want to be on here? Oh, I see. You just said one. I'm tired tonight, but I owe you one. And just like a Kelly, Brian Kelly, Big Cojones Kelly, I think y'all might be related. Y'all bunch of farces, bunch of fakes. Brian Kelly's a fake. LSU don't deserve to have such a fake be their head coach. So once LSU gets a coach in place that can stay about 10 or 15 years, someone with a little more umph and a little more moral turpitude, I think LSU could be they could be a powerhouse. They could be a dynasty if they could just get their shit together as far as head coaches go. Don't y'all agree? I am Sooners in the house. I am Sooner says, hey, Outlaw, hit the like button. So far right now, there have only been 3 likes ahead of me. I am number 4. Yeah, y'all please hit the like button. I know it's a little late tonight. It's 10:09 p.m. my time, Central Time, probably 11:09 p.m. Eastern Time. Just want to jump in here real quick and just see what everybody's up to. No harm in that, right? Alan says, I like you talking crap about Tebow. However, he's so irrelevant to college football today. Yes, he is irrelevant, but that's not the point, Alan. The reason why I continue to throw Linky Boy, a.k.a. TBOW, Tebow, the bitch out west, also known as Stinky Linky, among other adjectives. The reason why I keep throwing him on the grill, Alan, is because I made a promise to the Oklahoma fans when he did what he did and undermined the Oklahoma program while he was still employed at Oklahoma and stole and tampered with a lot of players on the Oklahoma roster. And him and Colin Cowherd, a lot of people like Colin Cowturd, couldn't keep their mouth off Oklahoma. Here's the thing. People's like, well, Mike, I should stop talking about Lincoln Riley and Oklahoma and USC and blah, 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 blah. I would if they would shut up talking about Oklahoma. Don't put your mouth on Oklahoma Don't talk about anybody else. Talk about your team out there that's shitting the bed. You know, they went going 11-3 with a stolen team to being 7-5 with a returning Heisman Trophy winner and Mary Caleb Williams fingernails to being whatever they're going to be this year. It would not surprise me if they repeated what they did last year. I think USC will probably finish 8-4, maybe 9-3 at best. If they do not go at least 9-3, in my opinion, they should fire Lincoln Riley's ass and send him packing to the Japanese American Football League. Not to Killer Breeze's favorite team, the Nagasaki Egg Rolls, but to the Tokyo Tech Crab Cakes. That's right. We need y'all to hit that like button to help push the algorithm. It's going to be slow tonight because I'm coming in here late and it's just a pop-up video. But this is for the people that are really strong in here, the people that are Outlaw Posse people that have been here since day one, people that are supporting the program and supporting the voice of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know. This is for y'all. This is just something to allow y'all to vent and say what you want to say. I'm going to respond to whatever comments I see in here tonight. This is all about y'all. And if you want to be on the program, like I offered Big Cojones Kelly, like I offered Brandon Dunn earlier, and he chickened out. Anybody that wants to be on, just give me your email. I'll send you an invite. You can come on here and talk shit, whatever you want to do. Thunder OU Center, Fred Bagley, Donnie, Allen, anybody that wants to be on here tonight, let me know. I'll send you a link, and I'll put you in here, and you can talk all the smack you want. So what's going to be the plan for Oregon once Big Daddy Phil Knight is gone? Well, I think Oregon, the fact that Nike, the founder is Phil Knight, the people that he has in place, I don't know if he has any kids, but I'm sure that Phil Knight, if he does have kids, are probably Oregon fans, and the Phil Knight and Nike relationship with Oregon will continue on, in my opinion. I could be wrong about that, but I do think it would be something that's probably ingrained in the Nike employees that Oregon is the team they need to support, even when Phil Knight is no longer around. By the way, how old is Phil Knight? That is a good question. That's something that piques my interest there, Donnie. Let's see if we can find something here for y'all. That's not it. That's not it. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I want. All right. Let's see if I can pull it up for you. That didn't pull it up either, did it? All right. Let me try to pull that up again for y'all. Oregon Ducks winners in college football realignment. What do y'all think about Oregon? Everybody's talking about all these other teams, and it's like Oregon is flying right under the radar. They're my dark horse to win the national championship. Oregon Ducks winners in college football realignment, Big Ten expansion. The Oregon Ducks are heading to the Big Ten Conference 2025. That's incorrect. They are coming in 2024. So the Oregon Ducks are major players in college football conference realignment. Will there be growing pains for Oregon who joins the Big Ten Conference this season to face top talent in the country in Ohio State Buckeyes and reigning, defending national champions, those Michigan Wolverines? Oregon is a first-year Big Ten school in a position to win right away with much thanks to its perimeter speed at wide receiver, and in the secondary, the Ducks' speed on offense is balanced and its aggressive offensive line full of returns and physical brand menacing defensive line. Expectations for Oregon in 2024 are soaring as Coach Dan Lanning secured the top transfer class in the Big Ten, including top transfer quarterback Dylan Gabriel, who takes over for Denver Broncos rookie Bo Nix, who, by the way, is Neckbeard's favorite player. Y'all need to make sure you bring up Bo Nix the next time Neckbeard's on here because he really loves Bo Nix. I think he would get on his knees and basically let Bo Nix park his balls on his chin if Bo Nix offered Neckbeard, a.k.a. Jonathan Lewis, that opportunity. Plus additions of highly touted incoming freshmen that threaten to make an instant impact. Oregon also returns a group of exciting veterans like Oregon receiver Tez Johnson and linebacker Jeffrey Bossa to teach the team DNA to the newcomers. So, they think Oregon may be in position to contend right away for the Big Ten championship. What do y'all think? Big Coneys Kelly agrees with me. He says Oregon is sneaky loaded. Bo Picks is what Allen calls Bo Nix. That's not nice, Allen. Why are you picking on poor old Bo Nix? Hell, man, he left the damn barn monkeys down there in Lee County. That'd be Auburn. He left the barn monkeys and went out there to play in Oregon. By the way, speaking of politics, since y'all brought it up earlier, did y'all hear that Oregon is about to split? The eastern side of Oregon is going to secede from the state because the city of Portland is a shithole that forces their liberal, perverted agendas like transgenderism and all that other stupid shit upon the rest of the state. So the eastern part of Oregon is going to secede from Oregon and join Idaho. I'm all for that. If I lived in eastern Oregon, I would definitely vote to secede, to not be associated with a shithole like Portland. Who is the biggest shithole, by the way, as far as liberal spastics go? Would it be Los Angeles, Portland, Seattle, and the summer of stupid, let's kill everybody love? Or would it be Chicago, who's like a third world country? Or would it be New York City, which is New York City? Is there anything else I need to say? Did I mention Los Angeles and the Skittle Shitters? San Francisco, the whole state of California and the coast is like just a breeding ground for people taking a dump in the street. Sorry, got off topic. Fred Bagley says Bo Nix won the award for best eyes. The ladies love it. I'm just saying. I wouldn't know, because I don't judge men like that, because I'm not, one of those kind of people, so if you say so, I'll take your word for it. Ricky Birdwell in the house. Ricky Birdwell, I ain't seen you in a while, brother. It's good to see you in here. How's your mama doing? How's your mama doing, Ricky? I know y'all are having some health issues, you and your mama. How are y'all doing, brother? Hope y'all are pulling through that. If DG stays healthy, I can see Oregon winning the Big Ten, says Rick Birdwell. Yeah, it would not surprise me if Oregon came in right away and contended for the Big Ten title. I see it as them and Ohio State. I know Michigan's the defending national champions. We've said it the last couple of years that Ohio State was going to right the ship and finally get back on top of Michigan, but each and every year, Michigan finds a way to win. So until they can prove that they can put that Michigan thing behind them, no. The Ducks may be winning the Big Ten Conference Championship their first year there. Tell you who's not going to win it. Can y'all guess who's not going to win the Big Ten? I'll let y'all guess real quick in the comment section. Y'all tell me who I'm about to say. Who am I about to say? Big Cojones Kelly agrees with me. Ohio State and Oregon will likely play for the big conference, the Big Ten Conference Championship. By the way, when is the Big Ten and the Big 12 going to learn how to freaking count? It gives Southern people a hard time all the time about how we're just not on their level mentality-wise, brain-wise. We're not on their level, and yet they can't count, man. They've been talking about Big 10 and Big 12 for the last 15 years, and they hadn't been the number 12 in quite a long time. Neither one of them have been 12 teams or 10 teams. change your name. Now, I can understand the Big Ten not changing their name. They had the name first. But the Big 12 definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, needs to change their name. Maybe to the mid-card 12. Because that's what they are. They're a bunch of mid-carders now. Just saying. Just saying. I'm not trying to troll, not trying to grill on them. Well, I ain't going to lie. I am sort of trying to grill on them. You got me. But they deserve it. They deserve it. They undoubtedly deserve it, especially Mr. I'm a Man, I'm 54, Mike Gundy. I got the Bedlam Trophy forever. Yeah. Yeah, you do, because you're scared to play Oklahoma again. I'm a man, I'm 70. You'll be 70 years old before Oklahoma State ever plays Oklahoma again, most likely. I hope that's not the case, but I see a lot of sour grapes with Okie Pokey Chokey State. And unless Okie Pokey Chokey State gets an invite to the SEC, they're probably going to try to avoid playing Oklahoma, just like Texas A&M didn't want to play Texas because of the emasculation between those two programs. It never was really a rivalry. They can say it was a rivalry all they want. Interstate rivalry, blah, 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 blah. But to me, it wasn't really a rivalry. It was a charity case. Oklahoma felt sorry for them, so they kept playing them. Oklahoma didn't join the SEC back in 2012 when they could have, because they didn't want to leave little bastard brother behind in Stillwater and their wet diaper status, which we saw happen. They basically wet the bed when they found out Oklahoma was joining the SEC. Oklahoma and Texas got tired of carrying the rest of y'all. Now Texas, they're a different story. They're a bit, full of themselves with the Longhorn Network and whatnot. But that shit's not gonna fly in the SEC. At least I hope it's not. I love that the SEC keeps sleeping on OU. I don't know if they're really sleeping on OU, or if maybe OU sleeping on the SEC. And they could turn that around on you there, Mad Dog Mike. They could say, hey, maybe you're sleeping on the fact that you think you're going to come in here and dominate the SEC out the gate. I've seen many a good team that everybody thought was national championship material not even make the playoffs. My team, Alabama, had Bryce Young, among other stars, mega stars, and we didn't even make the SEC championship game. So I don't really think that a lot of us are sleeping on you. There are some out there that have no respect for Oklahoma that probably need to have a little more respect for them. But there's also some on the other side of that. On the flip side, there's some Oklahoma fans that, sort of come across as, oh, we're going to come in and dominate. I don't see as being the case on either side. Oklahoma's going to get their licks in. The SEC's going to get their licks in. I think Oklahoma goes 9-3. And if people at Oklahoma are not satisfied with that, or if they're mad that I'm saying that, I think they shouldn't be. I think they should be happy to go 9-3 in the SEC. Just saying, it could be worse. It could end up going 7-5 or 5-7. Actually, Las Vegas predicted Oklahoma at first to go 6-6 in the SEC, and they have since upped that, I think, to 7.5 wins for Oklahoma, according to Vegas. Fred Bagley says the mid-poo dirty dozen. That's right. When he says mid-poo, when you see people here talking about mid-poo, they're referring to the Missouri Tigers, who have suddenly gotten this thing about them. We won 11 games. We beat Ohio State when all the players set out. We're the next coming of blue bloodism in the SEC. It's not going to happen. Missouri is a program throughout history. If you know your history, you know how the old adage goes, history tends to repeat itself. And in Missouri's case, it will most likely repeat itself. They'll have a couple of good seasons sometimes, win 10, 11 games a couple of years in a row, and then they'll just fall off the map and go 5-7 or 6-6. Sometimes even worse, they'll go 3-8 or 2-9. Here's a blast from the past from all you old people in here, like myself. I remember back in the day when Missouri was like, they were awful, man. They were almost as bad as Bethune-Cookman. You remember how bad Bethune-Cookman was when they come into the SWAC in the what is it, the predominantly black college league. Missouri back in the day, man, they had this coach named Woody Weidenhofer. Awful coach, worst coach I've ever seen. Woody Weidenhofer. They were going like 1-10 and 2-9 every year. So Missouri, until you can go, I'd say at least 4 or 5 years in a row, winning 10 or more games, shut the hell up. Don't draw attention to yourself. Use what you done last year to sneak up on people, let people sleep on you. But you can't do that. Go ahead and run your mouth, put your mouth on Oklahoma and the rest of the SEC, and now everybody knows you're there. You got our attention. Congratulations. Now you're going to get your ass whooped. That's most of my opinion. You're going to get your ass whooped. You beat Ohio State when all their players set out. And you didn't beat them by much. So you should have beat them like Georgia beat Florida State. In Florida, they played Florida State in the Orange Bowl and beat them, was it 63-3? It's the worst bowl ass whipping in the history of college football. Alabama used to have it as being the one giving it. We beat Syracuse 61-6 back in the 1950s. In the Orange Bowl, we beat them 61-6. Well, congratulations, Florida State. Now you hold the record for getting your ass handed to you the worst in a bowl game on a big stage, no less. This wasn't like it was the Independence Bowl. This is the Orange Bowl in the backyard of Florida State in Miami, in front of all those recruits. You got beat 63-3. They're not going to care whether a bunch of your players set out or not. Those recruits are going to see that you can't handle the big stage, Florida State. And speaking of Florida State, I don't want them in the SEC. The Big Ten may not want them. Bunch of damn crybabies, man, out there wetting their diapers in the teepees of Tallahassee down there on the reservation. Fred Bagley says, I've said from the start, OU is here to compete, and yes, 9-3 the first year suits me. I've said from the start, 25 is the year to watch out for OU. I completely agree. For the SEC people out there that think Oklahoma's going to come in and just be a middle-of-the-road team, I don't think that's going to happen. Here's the difference. See, Missouri and Texas A&M come in. Texas A&M, Missouri. Texas A&M last won a national championship back in 1939. Okay? Oklahoma and Texas have won numerous national championships. They've won, I think, between the two of them, they think they've won 11 or 12 national championships. So the difference is they're coming into the conference, and just like Arkansas and South Carolina, yeah, Arkansas's got a few national championships back in the 60s, but not multiple. Not to the point where it's like Oklahoma and Texas. Oklahoma is a blue blood. The SEC has never added a blue blood. That's the big difference here. Oklahoma's not going to be intimidated by that shit. Sure, they're somewhat rebuilding right now because of that jackass that left them high and dry and tried to undermine the program and basically deep six Oklahoma on the way out. That being Tebow, TBOW, the bitch out west, Lincoln Riley. But it's just like Alabama. It's just like Ohio State. Stank. They'll have a lull, but they always come back and they always percolate back up to the top because they're blue bloods. That's what they do. I would argue that Alabama's actually gold blood. We're actually more blue of the blue bloods than anybody. And yes, I'm an Alabama fan saying that. And you can say I'm being biased, but I'm just saying, look at the national championships. Every format we've been put in front of us, we've won. But Oklahoma and Texas are not going to be intimidated. They're not going to be like those other guys and come in here with no national championships to their credit, really, not multiples anyway. And if Missouri, people keep talking about Missouri should be kicked out, when in fact it should be Texas A&M if you're going to kick somebody out, because Missouri actually made the SEC championship twice, 2 years in a row. They made the SEC title game. They played Auburn and Alabama and lost, but they made it. Texas A&M never made it. Hell, even Ole Miss, who's been in the conference forever, Ole Miss has never made it to a conference title game. So if Missouri, my point is to the SEC people out there, and I'm an SEC guy, been so since I was born, if Missouri can make the SEC title game 2 years in a row, early on in their existence in the SEC, what makes you think Oklahoma and Texas can't come in here and contend immediately? Big Cojones Kelly says Mid-Poo has a decent offense, but I don't think they'll win 8 or 9 games. Max Storm 4601 has his badge. He's deputized. He says OU 7.5 is in its first year per Vegas. There's no old saying F Vegas. Hollowmaster in the house. I haven't seen Hollowmaster in a while. Welcome back, Hollowmaster 96. Hollowmaster says, by the way, if you don't mind, jump out and hit that like button and share this out to your friends. Get your friends to subscribe, man. It's free. It's free. It takes milliseconds to hit that subscribe button. And I promise you, I'll make it worth your while, especially your buddies. I ain't going to embarrass. Well, I'm not going to embarrass you, but I will toe the line. Hollowmaster says, Florida State is a disgrace. The cowards joined the ACC. Now they want to leave. Screw them. Exactly. Back in the day, in the 1990s, not Alabama, but the SEC invited Florida State and Miami. They turned it down. They joined the ACC. Both Florida State and Miami were independents in the 1980s, and they joined the ACC because Bobby Bowden said it come out of his mouth that it would be easier for them to make it to the national title game if they had an ACC schedule. He said it. Not me, not anybody else. Bobby Bowden said that he would rather play an easier ACC schedule so his team can make it to the national title game. And it worked out for them. They made it to quite a few. They just couldn't win a lot of them. They finally won one, but they were almost like the Buffalo Bills in the 1990s. And then we invited Arkansas and South Carolina. Fast forward to 2012. They wanted Texas and Texas A&M, and there was talk of Oklahoma. And Texas and Oklahoma had a lot of political bullshit that were in their way. A lot of politicians in Texas didn't want Texas leaving Texas Tech behind. And it was more profound in Oklahoma, where the people didn't want Oklahoma leaving Oklahoma State behind, which I touched on earlier. So, yeah. It's been a hell of a ride, all this expansion shit. And the SEC's always been ahead of the curve. And the Big Ten's always been playing catch-up, it seems like. Although they may have got over us on it this time. They may have gotten over on us a little bit this time. They actually won up to us a little bit this time around because they went and added 4 teams and we only added 2. So it puts the Big Ten at 18, right? More likely they're going to go out and add at least 2 more. They're going to add probably Notre Dame, who got their AAU status, just so they can get in the Big Ten. We all know they're not a research institution. That's why I said all this academic stuff, all this talk about, well, we can't accept schools unless their academic prowess is in check. It's bullshit. It's all horse shit. It's just their way of trying to make themselves feel mightier than the people down here in the South and the Southwest. We might talk slower, but that don't mean we're stupid. Big Cojones Kelly says Ole Miss may make the SEC championship game this year. If they're going to make it, this will be the year to do it. Donnie says, I wonder if Missouri would have been in those two SEC title games if the conference wasn't divided into divisions. We'll never know. Now will we? I can't go back and look at the records now. All I remember was that Georgia was real adept at shitting the bed back then. And Missouri basically backed into a couple of that first one. I think they backed into that. Fred Bagley says, I agree. I think we will compete well. It's just hard for some to admit that OU and Texas will make things a lot harder for the rest. I've said that the whole time. They need to start adding basketball powers instead of football powers because somebody has to lose. Somebody's not going to be happy. You keep adding football powers, somebody's going to lose, and somebody's not going to be a football power anymore. That could be my team. That could be your team. But any team in the SEC could lose a few steps in their blue blood status or their blue blood wannabe status. Well, back then it was just rankings before the BCS. Yeah, I know that. Mad Dog Mike said it's going to be a fun ride, no doubt. Big Coney's Kelly comes back in and he says SEC doesn't really have to add another school, to be honest. That's true. I agree. The SEC is pretty well stacked. If we did go out and add some more teams, I don't think we should add football powers this time. I think we should go after basketball powers. Go out and add Kansas and North Carolina. Two blue bloods in basketball. They help you across the board. Kansas football is getting better. North Carolina football has always been decent. And the academics are really good at North Carolina if you want to succumb to that horse shit. I'm not saying you shouldn't care about academics. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for people to say that that's a driving force or a consideration, they're full of shit. If the Big Ten was so worried about academics, why did they invite USC and UCLA over Stanford and Cal? Instead, they make Stanford and Cal join the ACC, which is named the Atlantic Coast Conference. Meanwhile, Stanford and Cal are on the Pacific Coast. If the Big Ten was serious about, we need to make sure we add the academic institutions first, why didn't they add Stanford and Cal over USC and UCLA? They can't answer that because they're full of shit. And it has nothing to do with it. It's just them wanting to have something to grasp onto because we emasculate them in football, the biggest money-making sport. Yes, I know Michigan won national title this year, but that's an anomaly. Normally, the SEC or a Southern team of some sort wins the national championship. Clemson, Florida State are Southern teams. They won the national championship. And a bunch of SEC teams won it. Even further back, Miami won it. Oklahoma won it. Texas won it back in the early 2000s. Those are Southern teams just in the Southwest. Most of the time, I think it's 17 out of the last 23 has been a Southern team. Maybe more than that, actually. I think it's more than that. It was Ohio State has won it twice this century, right? Michigan's won it once. What is that, 20 out of 23? 20 out of 23 times it's been a Southern team of some variety that's won national title. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Southern Cal. Southern Cal won a couple. So it's 18 out of 23. One of those got stripped from Southern Cal because they were cheating back then. Now it's not considered cheating. But that's all that AAU shit is. Them being emasculated by the fact that we own their ass. Southern universities own their ass in the most important sport and the biggest money-making sport in college athletics. Even Virginia and NC State would be a bad get for basketball and baseball. Would they be a bad get or a good get? Did you actually make a typo there? Virginia would be a good get for basketball. They did win a national championship here recently. NC State won a couple of national championships back in the day. They made the Final Four this year. So did Alabama, by the way. Roll Tide. So, yeah. Thunder OU Center says 2003 USC National Championship should not count because they did not play in the national championship. Okay. I think you still had the whole thing where the Pac-12 and the Big Ten were not in the BCS yet. And so that made it feasible for the AP poll and the coaches poll to actually vote for a different national champion, Thunder. That's how they claim that. Fred Bagley says they want to make sure the title gets passed off every year. They don't want any more Bamas. They don't want any more Alabamas, Oklahomas, Texas, Auburn, LSU. By the way, LSU's won the second most national championships since the advent of the BCS. People talking about this is a top-heavy conference. It's just Alabama and Georgia. Wrong answer. Since the advent of the BCS in 1998, the SEC's had 6 different national champions. 6. So we're not top-heavy. That's more along the lines of the Big Ten, who've only had Ohio State and Michigan win it. That's it. And in the ACC, it's just Florida State and Clemson. That's it. The SEC has every single conference doubled. Even when Oklahoma and Texas won the Big 12, they were the only ones winning national championships. Just Oklahoma in 2000 and Texas in 2005 or 2004, somewhere along there, 2006. I think it's 2005. Just 2 for the Big 12. And now they don't have that anymore. We took it away from them. We took their shit once and we're taking it again because we can. Because we're the premier conference. And as the motto says, it just means more. How you like that, cuz? Old cuz don't like it when we say that. Old Justin Walker, cuz is the corner. The West Virginia man. Alabama is a large research university. They should be an AAU school. They just made Arizona State an AAU school, says Donnie. Yeah, we don't give a shit. We know it's horse shit, so we don't care if they give us that label or not. Big Coneys Kelly says last 2 years in baseball, 2 SEC teams have made it to the finals of the CWS. There you go. There you go. Mad Dog Mike says if you want a superpower, kick Vandy, Mississippi State out, bringing Clemson, Florida State. I sort of disagree with that because if you keep bringing in football schools, somebody's got to lose. Somebody's got to lose. I don't want Florida State or Clemson. I know the argument for getting Florida State is that we would keep the Big Ten out of the state of Florida. I understand that. But, you know, in the whole big picture of things, who gives a shit? Geography don't mean anything now. So I wouldn't want Florida State. I wouldn't want Clemson either. If I was the SEC, I'd want to expand my portfolio and get a couple of college basketball blue bloods in Kansas and North Carolina. If not Kansas, maybe Virginia, like Big Cojones Kelly said. Maybe Virginia Tech, who has a nice little history in football. Not really deep outside, because Virginia Tech didn't really have a great history in football until the 1990s when Frank Beamer come along. Sort of like Kansas State and Bill Snyder. All right, boys and girls, it's been fun. I just want to jump in here real quick and holler at y'all tonight, give y'all a surprise session here and see what y'all had to say. You know, I like to give back to y'all and surprise y'all for time. Popped up on me over here. I like to surprise y'all from time to time, give y'all a surprise for supporting my channel and being so loyal to the channel. I appreciate everybody that's been in here tonight. You guys have supported me from the get-go, and I appreciate the hell out of y'all. We all need to get together one day, maybe meet in a neutral site. Maybe Nashville, Tennessee is where I would really love to go. I'd really like to get Big Cojones Kelly drunk as hell in Nashville. Or maybe Fred Backley or Donnie or Thunder O.U. Sooner. Get y'all just tore up Nashville, man. Get out there on the dance floor, dance it up. Even if you're shy, once you get a few shots in, you get out there on the dance floors of Nashville, man, it'd be awesome. Especially Storm 4601 and Eric Taco Marino. All you mugs. With that, I'm out of here. KMCA to all the other teams, classes now officially dismissed.